All right, guys, check this shit out. That Gavin Newsom guy, he needs to go. He needs to go. That is what is gonna help people out. Him gone.
Well, Sean, it's been over 2 decades since a Republican captured a Democratic held congressional district in California. But this year, things were a bit different. Republicans took not one, not two, not three, four districts back. And not only that, they actually flipped more seats than any other state in the country. And one of the folks responsible for this drastic change is our next guest, who made it her mission to build a party that looks like California. Joining us now to discuss this is California's GOP chairwoman, Jessica Millen Patterson. Jessica, welcome to the show, and a huge congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. We worked incredibly hard with all of our partners to make sure we were successful with these candidates, but also on issues all around the state.
What would you say was the biggest difference this year? Because this hasn't been done, like I mentioned, for literally decades.
We worked incredibly hard. And, when we came out of November of 2018, it was a very dark time for California Republicans. As I've traveled around the state over the last year and a half, I can tell you that darkness was filled with hope, excitement, and just the right amount of people being upset. They were ready to take their state back, and that made a huge difference. California Democrats gave us a lot to work with.
Jessica, it's sort of like the thing in politics is you're always a victim of your own great successes. So everyone's cheering you on, you flipped these seats, you registered more voters, you did all this great stuff. And now they're like, okay, now we got to do more. And it's been 14 years since Republicans won a statewide election in California. You flipped more seats, you did all this great stuff. What's the plan to get you to a statewide office?
Well, that's something we've actually been working on over the last 2 years. 2020 was about setting the table. And we had to do what we wanted to do with these congressional seats and legislative seats throughout our state, but also with the propositions. We had to be successful with that so we could truly bring balance back to California. And as you mentioned, bringing balance back to California is recruiting a candidate that can run and win against Gavin Newsom. Yeah. And let me tell you, after registering 625,000 new Republicans, surpassing decline to states finally here since May of 2018, we are ready for a Republican challenger that can take on Governor Newsom.
Yeah, so are we, and we don't even live there.
You brought quite a few diverse candidates to the table, and you say that you want to change GOP branding, but what does that actually look like for California?
So I think that for a very long time, the mainstream media, California Democrats have had to say what California Republicans are. They have said we are old. They say that we are white. They say that we are male. And the reality of it is that couldn't be further from the truth. We're an incredibly diverse party. My leadership on my board alone, I was the first woman, the first Latina to be elected as the state party chair. But the diversity doesn't end with me. Of our 23 board members, almost half of which are women. We've had 5 Latinos, an African American, a Taiwanese immigrant, our Kikpa Punjabi Indian American National Committee woman. We've had 2 openly gay men on our board. So the diversity exists there. The interesting thing is that none of us ran on being the first anything. Right. We ran on the issues that were most important to our constituents. That's true of us at the state party level. It's true of our candidates throughout the state. They were talking to their constituents about the issues that were most important to them. And it was exciting to watch them be successful. The foundation was our diversity. That's certainly one of our strengths. But being able to be in each community and talk about the issues that were important to them was what got us all over the finish line.
Jessica, you know what's interesting is Lindsay and I have so many guests on the show, the small business owners, to talk about how they've been adversely affected by COVID restrictions. They're struggling to keep their business open. But it's fascinating how many times we're highlighting a Democrat office holder in California, whether it's Gavin Newsom going to the French Laundry, which I learned was a very expensive restaurant, some of these county supervisors, some of the other, but it's like California has a disproportionate amount of Democratic elected officials that are completely hypocritical when it comes to how their stance on COVID. And so an interesting thing that we're talking about, are you finding that people who are Democrats are giving the GOP a chance because they're like, I don't like these guys as leaders. I'm willing to at least listen to what the Republican Party has to say and see what their standard is?
You're absolutely right. The hypocrisy is so deafening here in California. We've seen not only with the restaurant restrictions, but Governor Newsom himself, most of our public schools are closed here. And he chooses to send his children to a private school in person because he has the means to do it. But we're definitely seeing that from not just Democrats in declined states, but people that are giving the Republican Party a nod that had never done it before. What we saw in this last election was record turnout. Democrats have said for a long time in California, you can win when it's a special election. You can win when it's record low turnout. We turned out the highest percentage ever, and we flipped seats. And Democrats should be very concerned about that because it wasn't just all Republicans voting with us.
That's true.
Wow.
All right. Well, congratulations. Job well done.
Thank you, guys.